you to pause for a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, do I truly feel the presence of Allah in my life? Do I wake up every morning knowing with absolute certainty that my Creator is with me? That no matter where I am, no matter what I am going through, I am never alone? Because here's the truth, life is not easy. We live in a world full of distractions, full of hardships, full of whispers that tell us we are weak, that we are forgotten, that we are lost. Some of us are fighting silent battles, battles that no one sees, battles that weigh heavy on our hearts. Maybe it's the struggle to provide for our families. Maybe it's the pain of a loss. Maybe it's the burden of past mistakes that haunt us. Or maybe, just maybe, it's that deep emptiness inside that keeps asking, where is Allah in my life? But I am here to tell you something, and I want you to listen with your heart, not just your ears. Allah is with you. He has always been with you. From the moment your soul was created to this very second, as you sit here listening to my words, He has never left your side. When the world turns its back on you, when the people you love disappoint you, when your own heart feels like it's breaking into pieces, Allah is still there. When you cry in sujood with a heavy heart, when you whisper a dua that no one else can hear, when you stand alone in the darkness questioning your purpose, Allah is still there. He was there when you took your first breath. He was there when you stumbled and fell. He was there when you thought you couldn't go on. And He is here right now, wrapping you in His mercy, calling you back to Him, whispering to your soul, my servant, do not fear, I am with you. My brothers and sisters, the ones before us, they went through this too. Think about Prophet Musa. He stood before the Red Sea, an army behind him, nowhere to go, no way out. But what did he say? My Lord is with me, and He will guide me. And the sea split before his eyes. Think about Prophet Yunus, trapped in the belly of the whale in the depths of the ocean in complete darkness, no help, no hope. But what did he do? He called upon Allah with sincerity. There is no God but you. Glory be to you. Indeed, I was of the wrongdoers. And in that moment, Allah's mercy reached him and he was saved. Think about the Prophet Muhammad, and he stood in the cave with Abu Bakr R.A. as the enemies were searching for him, as death was just outside the entrance. And what did he say? Do not grieve, for Allah is with us. These are not just stories, my brothers and sisters. These are reminders. Reminders that no matter how impossible the situation seems, no matter how deep the darkness feels, Allah is always near. His help comes in ways we don't expect. His mercy reaches us even when we don't see it. His love surrounds us even when we feel unworthy. So tonight, today, this moment, I want you to ask yourself, do I truly believe that Allah is with me? Because if you do, then there is no fear, no anxiety, no pain that can overpower you. There is no storm that can shake you. There is no hardship that can break you, because when Allah is with you, you have everything. And that, my brothers and sisters, is the greatest truth you will ever need to know. Allah says, I am with you. So the question is, do you believe it? From the moment we open our eyes in the morning to the moment we lay our heads down at night, we are constantly surrounded by reminders of Allah's presence. The sun rising without fail, the gentle breeze that touches our skin, the heartbeat that never stops, the moments of joy and sadness. Everything is a sign that He is near. But beyond the signs of nature in the physical world, there is a much deeper reality, one that every believer must come to understand. No matter where you go, no matter what situation you find yourself in, Allah is with you. His presence is not limited by time or space. It is not dependent on our emotions or our awareness. Whether we are conscious of it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, His divine presence is constant, unshakable, and unchanging. When we walk this journey of life, we often feel alone. There are times when even the people closest to us cannot understand the struggles we are going through. There are moments of pain, grief, uncertainty, and fear. And in those moments, we may feel as if we have been abandoned, as if no one sees us, no one hears us, no one truly knows what is in our hearts. But that is never the case with Allah. He is As-Sami, the all-hearing. He is Al-Basir, the all-seeing. He is Al-Alim, the all-knowing. Every silent tear, every unspoken word, every struggle hidden deep within us is known to Him. Even when we feel lost, He is guiding us. Even when we feel weak, He is strengthening us. Even when we feel broken, He is holding us together. Allah's presence is not like the presence of a human being. It is not bound by physical proximity or distance. He is closer to us than our own jugular vein, as he says in the Quran. His presence is with us through his knowledge, through his mercy, through his power. It is through this presence that we find comfort in the darkest of times. It is through this presence that we are able to stand firm when the world around us is crumbling. When a believer truly internalizes this reality, fear disappears, worry fades. The heart finds peace because it knows that there is nothing to fear when the one who controls everything is near. This understanding is the foundation of faith. It is what gives strength to the oppressed. It is what gives patience to those who are struggling. It is what gives courage to those who feel weak. It is what allows a person to walk through fire and not be burned, to stand in the middle of a storm and not be shaken. It is what allows a believer to say, even in the worst of times, my Lord is with me and he will guide me. Those who live with this certainty walk through life with their heads held high, their hearts full of hope, and their souls at peace. Life is a journey filled with trials, challenges, and hardships. No one walks through this world without facing difficulties, and no believer is exempt from being tested. But what many fail to realize is that these tests are not signs of Allah's abandonment. They are, in fact, proof of his divine attention and love. The struggles we go through, the moments of pain, the times when we feel like we are being pushed to our limits, these are not punishments. They are opportunities for growth, purification, and elevation. They are reminders that Allah is watching over us, guiding us, and strengthening us for something greater. Throughout history, every righteous person who walked the path of faith has faced hardships. The prophets, the most beloved to Allah, endured the greatest trials. Prophet Muhammad, the best of creation, was not spared from difficulties. He lost his parents, his wife, his children. He was mocked, rejected, attacked, and forced to leave his home. Yet, through it all, he never wavered in his faith. He knew that every hardship carried wisdom, that every pain had a purpose, and that Allah was always near. If the most beloved of Allah went through difficulties, then what about us? If trials were a sign of Allah's displeasure, then why did the greatest of people suffer the most? The answer is clear. Trials are not signs of rejection, they are signs of nearness. When a person is tested, it is because Allah wants them to turn to Him. He wants them to seek Him, to call upon Him, to strengthen their faith in Him. Sometimes we get lost in the distractions of this world. We become consumed by our jobs, our relationships, our desires. We forget to truly connect with our Creator. But when a hardship comes, it forces us to remember Him. It humbles us, reminding us that we are not in control, that we are in need of His help. It is in these moments that our du'as become the most sincere. It is in these moments that we cry out to Allah with hearts full of desperation. And it is in these moments that we truly taste the sweetness of reliance upon Him. The pain we experience in this life is temporary, but the reward for patience is eternal. Every tear shed in hardship, every moment of struggle, every difficulty endured for the sake of Allah is recorded and rewarded. Allah does not allow the efforts of His servants to go to waste. He promises in the Quran that with hardship comes ease. This is not just a statement of comfort, it is a divine truth. Ease does not only come after hardship, it comes with it. Even in the darkest of times, there is always a light. Even in the heaviest of burdens, there is always a relief. The believer knows that no matter how hard the trial, Allah's mercy is greater. No matter how difficult the situation, Allah's help is near. When we begin to see our struggles as a sign of Allah's attention rather than His neglect, our entire perspective changes. We stop questioning, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is Allah teaching me through this? We stop seeing difficulties as obstacles and start seeing them as pathways to something greater. We stop resisting the tests of life and start embracing them as opportunities to get closer to our Creator. Hardships are not meant to break us. They are meant to build us. They are meant to shape us into stronger, wiser, and more faithful servants of Allah. The fire of trials is not meant to burn us. It is meant to purify us, just as gold is purified through intense heat. Those who understand this walk through life with a sense of peace, knowing that every difficulty is a step closer to Allah. They do not fear the trials of this world because they know that their Lord is with them, guiding them, protecting them, and preparing them for something far greater than they can imagine. Trust in Allah's plan is the foundation of true faith. Life is unpredictable, full of twists and turns that often leave us questioning, doubting, and wondering why things happen the way they do. There are moments when we feel like everything is falling apart, when the path ahead seems unclear, when our prayers seem unanswered, and when we wonder if we are truly being guided. But the believer understands something deeper. There is no such thing as coincidence, no such thing as a random event in the life of a Muslim. Everything happens with divine wisdom, and every moment of our existence is a part of Allah's greater plan. Even when things don't make sense, even when we feel lost, even when we struggle to understand why something is happening, the truth remains. Allah is in control, and His plan is always better than ours. Tawakkul, true reliance on Allah, is not just about believing in Him when things are easy. It's about trusting Him when things are difficult. It's about knowing deep in your heart that even when life throws its hardest test at you, Allah has not abandoned you. He sees the full picture when we can only see a small part of it. We may think something is good for us, but in reality, it could be harmful. We may think we have lost something valuable, but in reality, Allah is protecting us from something we do not understand. How many times have we been disappointed by something only to later realize that it was a blessing in disguise? How many times have we felt lost only to find ourselves in a place far better than we ever imagined? That is the beauty of trusting Allah's plan. Knowing that every delay, every difficulty, and every closed door is leading us to something greater. Look at the story of Prophet Musa AS. When his mother placed him in the river as a baby, it must have felt terrifying. She had no idea what would happen to him, but she trusted Allah, and because of that trust, her child was not only saved, but raised in the palace of Pharaoh, the very man who sought to kill him. Look at Prophet Yunus AS. He was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold as a slave, imprisoned for years for a crime he did not commit. Yet every single hardship was part of a divine plan that eventually led him to becoming a ruler in Egypt, reuniting with his family and bringing blessings to an entire nation. These stories are not just meant to be read, they are meant to be lived. They teach us that no matter what happens in life, Allah is always in control. When a believer learns to trust in Allah completely, their heart is at peace. They stop overthinking, stop worrying, stop fearing the unknown. They understand that every situation, whether good or bad, is a step in the journey that Allah has written for them. They know that even in the worst of times, there is wisdom behind the hardship. They know that Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And they know that as long as they hold on to faith, they will always be exactly where they are meant to be. Tawakkul is not just about saying, I trust Allah. It is about living that trust, feeling that trust, and letting it guide every decision, every emotion, and every moment of life. The power of dua and sincerity is one of the greatest gifts that Allah has given to us. It is a direct connection between the servant and the Creator, a moment where the barriers between the heavens and the earth disappear, where the soul finds its truest expression. Dua is not just words. It is an act of worship, an act of surrender, an act of faith. It is the believer's weapon in times of struggle, the key to relief in times of distress, and the bridge between human weakness and divine strength. No matter how lost, broken, or distant we feel, the moment we raise our hands and sincerely call upon Allah, He listens. He hears every whisper, every tear that falls before it even touches the ground. He knows the pain in our hearts before we even speak it. The beauty of dua is that it is not restricted by time, place, or condition. You do not need to be in a masjid. You do not need to be in a state of physical purity. You do not need to have perfect words or eloquence. You only need a sincere heart, a heart that turns to Allah in complete humility. When a person calls upon Allah with sincerity, believing that He is the only one who can help them, they are never left unanswered. The Prophet told us that Allah responds to every dua in one of three ways. He grants what we ask for immediately, He delays it for a better time, or He replaces it with something even greater. This means that no dua goes to waste. No sincere call to Allah is unheard. Even when we feel like our prayers are not being answered, they are being stored, waiting for the perfect moment to unfold in ways we cannot imagine. There are countless examples from the Quran and the lives of the prophets that show the power of dua. Prophet Zachariah made dua for a child when he was old, and Allah blessed him with Yahya. Prophet Yunus was trapped in the belly of the whale in complete darkness, yet when he called upon Allah with sincerity, La ilaha anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin, Allah saved him. The mother of Musa made a silent dua as she placed her infant son in the river. And Allah not only returned him to her, but raised him to be a prophet. These are not just stories, they are lessons. They are proofs that no matter how impossible a situation seems, dua has the power to change everything. But dua is not just about asking, it is about connection. It is about recognizing that everything is in the hands of Allah, that no matter how much we plan, how much we strive, ultimate control belongs to Him alone. When a person makes dua consistently, it transforms their heart. It increases their faith. It strengthens their relationship with Allah. It reminds them that they are never alone, that they have a Lord who listens, who cares, who is always near. The one who holds on to dua, who never stops calling upon Allah, who cries to Him in the silence of the night and whispers to Him in the depths of their heart, that person is never truly broken, never truly defeated, because they are connected to the one who holds all power, all mercy, all wisdom. The strength of patience and perseverance is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Life is filled with challenges, obstacles, and hardships, and no one is free from them. But what determines our success in this life and the next is not the absence of hardship, it is how we respond to it. Patience, or sabra, is not just about waiting for things to get better, it is about enduring, standing firm and trusting Allah, even when everything seems to be against us. It is the quality that allows a believer to keep going even when the road is difficult, even when the doors seem closed, even when the pain feels unbearable. Allah has promised again and again in the Quran that He is with those who have patience. When we remain patient, we are not suffering alone. We are under the special care of our Lord. Look at the lives of the prophets. Every single one of them faced trials, yet they never gave up. Prophet Ayub suffered from illness for years, but he remained patient and trusted in Allah's mercy, and in the end, he was rewarded beyond his imagination. Prophet Nuh called his people for 950 years, facing rejection and mockery, but he never stopped. Prophet Muhammad faced unimaginable hardships. He lost loved ones, was attacked, was forced to leave his home, but through it all, he remained steadfast, patient, and unshaken in his mission. These examples are not just stories of the past. They are meant to inspire us, to remind us that patience leads to victory, perseverance leads to success, and those who remain steadfast will always be supported by Allah. True patience is not just about enduring hardship, it is also about controlling our reactions. When we face difficulties, do we immediately complain? Do we lose hope? Or do we remind ourselves that everything is a test from Allah and He knows what is best for us? The Prophet said that the real patience is at the first strike of calamity. The moment something happens, that is when our true faith is tested. It is easy to be patient when we know relief is coming soon. But the real test is when we do not see the way out, yet we still trust in Allah's plan. This is why patience is not just a virtue, it is a form of worship, a form of trust, and a form of strength. One of the greatest rewards of patience is that it brings us closer to Allah. When we choose patience over frustration, faith over fear, reliance over doubt, we grow in ways we never imagined. Every hardship we endure with patience erases our sins, elevates our status, and prepares us for something greater. The Prophet reminded us that no fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick of a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for it. This means that every difficulty is not just a trial, it is an opportunity for growth, for purification, for earning Allah's mercy. The believer who embraces patience does not see hardships as punishments, they see them as stepping stones to something greater, as moments where Allah is strengthening them, shaping them, and preparing them for what is to come. The presence of Allah in our lives is the greatest source of strength, peace, and guidance. No matter what we go through, no matter how heavy the burdens of this world feel, the moment we realize that Allah is with us, everything changes. Fear turns into courage, despair turns into hope, and loneliness turns into comfort. The believer is never truly alone because Allah never leaves His servant. He is closer to us than our own souls. and He watches over us with love, mercy, and wisdom. When a person understands this, they stop feeling lost, they stop feeling helpless, because they know that no matter what happens, their Lord is always near. This is a lesson we see in the lives of the prophets and the stories of those who came before us and in our own personal experiences. When Prophet Musa stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army closing in behind him, his people thought they were doomed. But what did Musa say? "Indeed, my Lord is with me, He will guide me." And in that moment, Allah split the sea, making a way where there seemed to be none. When Prophet Yunus was in the belly of the whale, in complete darkness, cut off from the world, he called upon Allah, saying, "There is no God but you, glory be to you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers." And in that moment, Allah answered his call and saved him. When Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr were hiding in the cave during the migration with the enemy right outside, Abu Bakr felt afraid, but the Prophet reassured him, saying, "Do not be afraid. Indeed, Allah is with us." And Allah protected them. These stories are not just lessons from the past, they are reminders for us today in our own lives that no matter how difficult things become, Allah is with us. When we truly internalize this, we live differently. We stop relying on people, on circumstances, on material things, and we start relying on Allah alone. We stop fearing failure because we know that success is in Allah's hands. We stop feeling anxious about the future because we know that Allah's plan is always better than our own. The heart that knows Allah is near is unshaken by the storms of life. It does not break under pressure. It does not lose hope in difficult times, because it understands that with Allah, there is always a way. There is always wisdom. There is always mercy. One of the most powerful verses in the Quran is when Allah says, "Nasrullah, and when my servant asks you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the supplication of the supplicant when he calls upon me." This verse is a direct promise from our Creator. He does not say, "Maybe I will answer." He does not say, "I am far away." He says, "I am near." Every dua is heard. Every hardship is seen. Every tear is counted. The one who understands this never feels lost, because they know that their Lord, the most merciful, the most loving, is always with them. And as long as Allah is with them, they have everything they need. The greatest comfort a believer can ever have is the unshakable truth that Allah is always with us. No matter where we are, no matter what we are going through, no matter how alone we may feel, Allah has never left us, and He never will. From the moment we were created to the moment we take our last breath, He is closer to us than our own souls. Every hardship, every test, every trial is not a sign of abandonment, but a reminder that we are being shaped, strengthened, and prepared for something greater. When we look at the lives of the prophets, we see this truth reflected over and over again. They faced challenges that seemed impossible to overcome, yet they never doubted, never gave up, and never let fear control them. Instead, they stood firm with the certainty that Allah was with them, guiding them through the storms of life. This is the mindset we must adopt. This is the faith we must carry in our hearts. No matter what we face, loss, pain, betrayal, uncertainty, we must remind ourselves that Allah is near, watching, listening, and preparing a way for us, even when we can't see it. Think about the moments in your own life when you felt lost, when things seemed to be falling apart. Now look back and see how Allah carried you through, how He opened doors you never expected, how He strengthened you in ways you never imagined. That was never an accident. That was never a coincidence. That was Allah. Every difficulty we endure, every tear we shed, every prayer we whisper in the dead of the night, it is all heard, it is all counted, and it is all leading us to something greater. Allah's presence in our lives is not just a concept to believe in, it is a reality to feel, a truth to embrace, a light that guides us through even the darkest moments. But the question is, do we truly recognize His presence? Do we live with the awareness that Allah is with us? Do we walk through life knowing that we are never alone? Because the moment we do, everything changes. Fear disappears, doubt fades, and the heart finds peace. The person who trusts in Allah does not worry about tomorrow because they know tomorrow is already written by the one who loves them most. The person who relies on Allah does not crumble under hardship because they know every difficulty is a stepping stone towards something better. The person who truly believes that Allah is with them walks with strength, speaks with confidence, and faces life with courage because they are backed by the creator of the heavens and the earth. So let this be our mindset moving forward. Let us wake up every morning with the certainty that Allah is watching over us. Let us go to sleep every night with the peace that our affairs are in His hands. Let us face our struggles with the belief that every hardship comes with ease, every storm will pass, and every pain will be replaced with something greater. And above all, let us live our lives with unwavering faith, because the one who created us, the one who provides for us, the one who loves us more than we can ever comprehend, He is always with us. Thank you for being part of this journey, for allowing these words to enter your heart, and for striving to strengthen your connection with Allah. My prayer for all of us is that we never lose sight of this truth, that we always feel the nearness of Allah in every moment of our lives, and that we become among those who walk this world with faith, patience, and absolute trust in our Creator. May Allah bless you, guide you, and always keep you under His mercy. Me.